Okay, welcome back. Now we are going to discuss religion and postmodernity. So, when we are talking about postmodernity, please do keep in mind there are certain words that should come to your mind, and one of the things, two things. First is related to a range of viewpoints. Now, there is no universal truth according to the postmodernists. In fact, they say that in the past also there was no universal truth, but in fact, people were using some widely accepted notions of the truth, which were called the meta narratives of the time. And when these postmodernists they approach religion in various ways. Some of those ways can be considered outlandish by us, but then these are the ways in which they approach religion. So one of the ways in which they approach religion is that they say that God is dead, religion is disappearing, and some would say that we are actually returning to a traditional faith. Religion is evolving, it's not dead, it's evolving, and it's taking new forms because everything is evolving, human beings are evolving. So there are many things in this postmodern perspective which are difficult to reconcile, but we'll try to move ahead and try to explain that. So first thing that we will talk about is the meta narrative. Okay, a general framework of beliefs. Okay, general framework of beliefs, like go back 3000 years, and the general framework of belief in Europe as well as in Asia was that there were multiple gods. And there was and there was an exclusive claim to the truth that continued after the monotheistic religions. This is Pope Urban II, the father of the Crusades, the man who in November 1095 declared that there should be an attack on the Muslim strongholds, and there should be a liberation of the Holy Land. So, and people responded to his call. So that was the great meta narrative of the time. You go to war against the infidels, and the word infidel was created by Urban II to describe the Muslims, and and I'm going to guarantee your salvation in the other life. So. The postmodernists say that, look, there is no more meta narrative. How can you have a meta narrative? Yeah, there can be personal narratives, there can be local narratives, but how can there be a meta narrative that envelops the whole world? Okay, so there is a growing incredulity towards meta narratives. No single set of beliefs can sustain the claim that there's a monopoly on the truth. Okay, now when that happens, and there's no single belief that has a claim on the truth, then what about the position of religion, which is important because it has a monopoly on the truth? So then there are local narratives have developed. uh, Spiritual flying saucers. I saw a flying saucer over the church, and that was a sign from God. Okay, fine. That is a local narrative. I mean, that is something that can happen in one part of the world, but not in the other. So people are retreating into these small stories. The personal situation is more important than the overall situation. Okay, so what is happening is that, like we choose the media, like we choose the programs, the postmodern world is a world where people are extensively choosing and incessantly choosing religion or religious symbols. Okay, uh, they simulate the meaning. They simulate the meaning of things that at one time had real meaning. And these simulations, These simulations then are not imitations. Okay, look, there was a time when people used to go to the church and they used to listen to a sermon, but now that sermon is coming inside the house in the form of what are called the televangelists. Okay, we had a lot of televangelists, and they're all over the world. The televangelists are this picture that you are seeing here. This is not a concert. This is a religious gathering. This is a sermon being given by an evangelist to the Christians in the United States. Likewise, you will find the same in among the Hindus. You will find the same among the Muslims. These are the things which give the. These are not imitations. These are simulations of what used to happen in the church. Uh, so these simulations are religiosity. But are they actually keeping the value of or the substance of religion as it was? So maybe not, because religion was not occupying a central position in the lives of the people. So these simulations happened more in that context, more in the context that people accept, more in the people don't accept going to the church in the morning, maybe, but they may like going to the stadium in the evening or at night. So instead of giving them a movie to watch in the theater, you give them a motivational sermon. Okay, and motivational talk is something people, with the passage of time, are being impressed with the way things are articulated. Now look at the TED talks. Look at, so this is the same environment: religion in the form of a TED talk, and religion in the form of quick solutions like magic. You read this, and you remember Christ in this way, and these problems of yours will be solved in this much time. Okay, it looks very much like marketing: the right product at the right time at the right place in the right quantity. Okay, so eh, magic on the one hand, marketing on the other. Quick, now that is what the people want, and this is what this new form of religiosity are often offering the people. Okay, so these are individual narratives. A person has a daughter who is sick, a person has a financial situation. People are more concerned with those matters these days. They're not concerned with the overall health of humanity. All right, so there are various narratives. Okay, so religion is an identity statement according to the postmodernists. Okay, and then there are various contradictions within religion according to the postmodernist point of view. There are contradictory sets of beliefs. Okay, there is decline, but there's also development. Religion may be declining in certain areas, but it's developing in others. And no longer are beliefs very important in the form of organized religious institutions. Uh, Religion may have become less important in practice, but it's more important as a source of personal identity. Okay? And that leads us to what is called the privatized form of worship. Religion is practiced in private rather than in the public sphere. Have a look at this person. Okay, this is the only man in the history of the world who has defeated the United States of America. He was the father of the Vietnam resistance. And his presence and his methods created a lot of pressure, a lot of psychological pressure on the Americans, because he resorted to guerrilla warfare, killing people without even showing his face. His soldiers did not show themselves. They just attacked from various places. And he sent back thousands of Americans in body bags who are still buried in the Arlington Cemetery. And that threw the President of the United States in those days, Johnson, in a flux. How do you deal with them? How do you attack an enemy who just doesn't show himself? Okay? There was carpet bombing and a lot of uh, suffering. But then the meta narrative, or the personal narrative, or the narrative of some of the people in the United States was, "Hey, hey, LBJ, how many kids did you kill today?" He could not kill the soldiers, so he resorted to carpet bombing. He bombed every village, hoping that he would kill, but he ended up killing uh, more civilians than soldiers. And what was the reaction? The reaction was not that he was a great conqueror. The reaction was that the American public poured on the streets against him, chanting, "Hey, hey, LBJ, Lyndon B. Johnson, hey, hey, LBJ, how many kids did you kill today?" Okay. And then another narrative emerged, uh, the hip movement. Why do you want to make war? Okay. Now, please keep in mind, this is not the meta narrative of the time. Okay. I'm just talking in terms of post-modernity. I'm not linking it to religion right now. I'm just trying to explain what individual narrative can be, a personalized narrative. Okay. The Boney M, the great band of the time, and then this is the Al Pacino movie in which the hip culture is encouraging people to smoke and use drugs and stuff like that. But that did not sustain itself. Okay, the religious people under Billy Graham, the great Christian evangelist, they reasserted themselves, and the Christian right was forming. Okay, and which gave rise to the New Age movements, which we are going to talk about in the next video. Thank you very much indeed.